David, we're just about to have match day -1 training. You've just arrived at the stadium. What's your initial impressions?
Yeah, big stadium. Obviously we've got the running track around it, so we'll have a look at the pitch. The pitch seems okay, but it is what we suspected. We trained in pre-season. We went to Spain on a warm weather training camp to prepare for a night like this, a game like this. We've done a lot of hard work in pre-season. We had a good performance last week and a good result, so we need to go and back that up. We know the challenge is going to be here. It's going to be a tough one, and we need to make sure that we're looking after ourselves tomorrow night.
The club has backed you. It's a charter aircraft that came in today. You've just arrived. The preparations have been excellent, from the club in terms of backing you to get the best possible result here.
Yeah, the preparation has been good from day one of pre-season. Again, we've had good results over the last number of years in European football. We had a good one last week, and it's important when you win games in Europe. And I stated last week that out of the Welsh clubs, the Republic of Ireland clubs, or our own league, that we were the only team to win a game in European football last week, so it's hard to win. We done that. I thought we were professional. I thought we were good last week. But again, when you come to a place like this, that the challenge is going to be there. I thought our performance merited it, probably a better result. But it is what it is, and as I say, we come here prepared and ready to go.
A lot of the talk pre-match has been about the heat. When we stepped off the plane today, it was really warm.
Yeah.
This is close to match time tomorrow night, and it's warm. It's not ideal, but it's almost bearable.
Yeah, I would say it's bearable. As you say, when we stepped off the plane in Tirana early afternoon, it was stifling. It was hot. So you're hoping if tonight's similar to what it's going to be tomorrow night, it's acceptable. I'm sure things will be discussed tomorrow in terms of water breaks, but again, we prepared for this. We played Lincoln Redhams at 11 o'clock in Marbella when we went there for a night like this, for an occasion like this. So there's no excuses for me. There should be no excuses from the players. They're fit, and again, we've got an opportunity now to progress into the second round.
We're 3-1 up. It's an advantage. It's a good position to be in, but with the heat, with the crowd behind them, this is still a game very much in the balance. So everyone's going to have to, put in a full shift here tomorrow, aren't they?
Yeah, of course, we know that. We've discussed that. We talked about that in the build-up of the game this week. We'll talk about it again tonight in training and tomorrow in the lead into the game. So we know we've still a job to do. We need to be professional. We need to be organised. We need to make sure that we manage the game and at the right times and at the occasions tomorrow, because as I said to you before, European football is difficult, it's hard. We have no divine right to go and beat teams from Albania, Faroe Islands, Maltese, wherever else, but we've given ourselves a chance, and that's what we wanted to do last week. Our performance merited that, and we look forward to a challenge again tomorrow night.
The late goal was a setback, as was the loss of Daniel Finlayson here tomorrow. But the loss of one gives an opportunity to somebody else, and it gives you a headache as to how you're going to readjust the back line.
Yeah, I don't think there's any headache. Again, if everybody gets through training tonight, decisions already been made. Obviously, the players aren't aware of that just yet. But again, myself and the staff have basically made our minds up on who's going to play. So it's not, as you say, it's an opportunity for somebody to come in, play a European game, gain the experience of that, and I've no doubt that the player that will play tomorrow night, he's got good European experience before, and he'll come in and do the job that we expect him to do.
A lot of young players in the squad, a lot of first-time European players here. You're okay that they're going to manage the occasion okay in their first big appearance in a big venue like this?
Again, what's important is the experience in the group. The older players that have been, and I looked at our programme last week, and you see people like Kirk Miller, Matty Clark, Jimmy Mulgrew, Chris Shields has huge European experience for Dundalk and ourselves. So players like that have been in European situation like this before. So it's important that they, whether they play or don't play, that they still help, guide, advise some of the players who might play, and the other younger players, say they learn from senior players, they learn from the experience. Occasions like this tomorrow night, being a part of it, they'll learn from for next year and hopefully years in advance of that. So it's important to be, and we've got that. I talked about it in pre-season that some of the more experienced players certainly have not only just this sort of window in the summer, but last year we've lost quite a lot of experience out of the dressing room. But again comes good youthful energy into the group, and we've got that. Probably a little bit of naivety that's going to be in and around that, which again I don't mind, because again when you come to a place like Linfield, it's important that not only do you realise that there's an opportunity for you, but again you don't want to be sort of burdened with all the success that Linfield have had and the period of time that this football club's been successful. So players come in, they're aware of the football club, but it's never one that you have to sort of build into a player or players in previous eras and whatever else. Players are coming here to make their own mark. With young players wanting to make their own mark in their own careers, their young careers. Players who have come back from England, again, we've done that before. We give people a platform to go and prove themselves on not only our own domestic level but European level, and people thrive from it. So I expect older senior experienced players to drive the dressing room, help the dressing room, drive the dressing room tomorrow, and hopefully lead us into the second round.
And around 30 Linfield supporters have made the journey. It's quite an adventure to come to a place like this. It's a lot of expense. Tremendous that they've got that dedication, isn't it? Yeah,
again, we've been here before on the road. When you arrive in places like Baku and Luxembourg, difficult places to get to. Montenegro, I always sort of remember the penned in Linfield supporters in the back of the away goal. I think there was about 30 or 40 again that night. So for me, it's always much appreciated, most appreciated, that people still want to come and support Linfield on a European level. And for me as the manager, it's important then that myself and the players go and perform. I know there's going to be a lot of people checking in on the score back home and watching back home, probably in the live stream, hoping and wishing as well. And I've already received quite a lot of well wishes for the game tomorrow night, and say for me it's important as a manager of this club to make sure that we go and perform, and more importantly hopefully progress into the next round.
We've had a lot of big European nights in recent years. It's another opportunity to create another big European story here tomorrow night, isn't it?
Yeah, we've progressed through rounds before, so it's important. Again, it's important for the belief of the players going forward. It's important for me to have I talk about, and I've talked about before, believing in the players and the individuals and the group of players that we have. So it's important tomorrow night. There's going to be stages in the game tomorrow night that we need to manage the game properly. We're going to be under pressure, I'm sure, at some stage, be it early, mid-game or later in the game when we're having to defend for our lives. And again, the players are aware of that. We'll discuss that again tonight and tomorrow and be as prepared as we can.
All the best for a successful training session, and even more so all the best for a successful, hopefully fingers crossed, big game here tomorrow night, David.
Cheers, Emily.